You know, surprisingly, I'm not a gambling man. However, I'm going to take a wild guess and say that most people are probably not going to fall into this demographic I'm about to mention. However, though, if you do happen to be one of those people that's really into Spanish films and also really into movies about cancer that make you cry, surprise! I found one for you. Yay! Yeah, celebrate and all that. Yeah, good times. Cue the music. Hey everybody, how's it going? How you doing? Welcome back. So in this video, we're gonna talk about a little film called Notes for My Son. And I gotta say, Netflix really has been stepping up their game when it comes to these, these kind of, I guess you could say, Hallmark/Lifetime-esque kinds of movies. Because the last few that they made have actually been not overly emotional and not sappy and way more digestible for dudes like me that are into, like Marvel and Star Wars and whatnot. But I'm also one of those people who tries to watch every single movie I can possibly get my hands on, so maybe I don't quite fit the usual movie-going demographic, but I like to think Netflix is doing something right, so we're gonna go with that. Anyway, the overall plot of the movie is it's about a mother who finds out she has terminal cancer and there's really nothing they can do. So the movie follows her while she's kind of in hospice or in hospital and the nurses are taking care of her, trying to make her comfortable and do all that good stuff. And while that's going on, this mother gets the idea that she wants to leave behind little notes, maybe even a book, maybe some video vlogging type things for her son. Because she's pretty young to have cancer and her son's kind of little, so she wants to leave behind some kind of legacy, something to remember her by. And she just simply doesn't want him to feel alone because it's kind of a sad situation. And the fact that that character was just so upfront about everything and just so straightforward and so determined to make all this happen, it just drove the entire movie, and it actually turned out to be really good. Also, fun fact, the movie's based on a true story. And just the fact alone that this lady who handled cancer like a boss, the fact that she was like a real person that this actually happened to, so inspiring. Because the other aspect of the story is she also started tweeting about like all the things that she's going through, and she kind of got famous on Twitter, kind of sorta, and started doing interviews, and that's like a whole other like element of the story. And then also conversely, you have the husband in the movie, and they totally built these two up to be the straight up power couple. Because the mom is clearly already handling everything like a gangster to begin with, and then later on throughout the film, you kind of understand the level of devotion that her husband has, and it's just like, dude, I can only aspire to be in a relationship this awesome. And that's because in yet another element of the story, there's the whole thing about euthanasia or doctor-assisted suicide, or what, I don't know what the proper term is for it. But since this lady's terminal, they plan on sedating her, for the last time at a certain point, but there's some laws around it that just got passed, and like the whole stigma behind it, it gets weird, and the husband has to examine options at one point, and you just see the length of devotion that he has for his wife, and it's really amazing. So you have these two great central characters, and then they don't show too much of the son really, but the child's presence is kind of felt just in the way that the mother talks about it, so the dialogue was also really cool. And the few scenes that you do see the kid interacting with the mom and the dad, like they're just acting completely normal, and it's just so wholesome, and you really believe the relationship between all three of these people in this family. So that was really good, and they also show like, all their friends are coming in to visit every once in a while. There was a couple little side plots in there that worked pretty good, I thought. However, there were two kind of noticeable flaws about I guess I shouldn't say two. I think what I mean is that there's two flaws, but one of them is more so a cause, and then the other one's more so an effect, I guess. And the effect, or the symptom, whatever you want to call it, is that the movie's tone kind of felt a little all over the place and kind of disorganized. And that's partially due to the fact that it's based on a true story, so it has a bit of an atypical story structure, but it's also because the movie didn't really signal to you when certain things were taking place. Like, for example, there's a scene where the mom, and I think it's like her best friend or something like that, or they're just kind of sitting there talking to each other. And after a minute, you realize that the best friend is making a list, and you're like, oh, this is some kind of like last meal or last request type conversation. Like, oh, okay, I didn't even know we were doing that. So it's basically like the movie was shifting gears without telling you, so the tone also shifted without telling you, but you don't pick up on it immediately. Sometimes it takes a minute, so like your feelings are like almost out of order once in a while. So occasionally the story will feel like we're walking down this path, but then, oh, we take a sharp left turn because now we're talking about this. So that got a little jarring, but besides that, this is a really nice little movie. It's got really strong characters. It's got pretty interesting subject matter. It had very heartfelt performances, or at least, from what I could gather. I don't speak the language. And I think I remember the music being pretty all right. It did try to take center stage maybe once or twice in the movie, but other than that, it's pretty good. And the movie also ended on what I thought was a very good note. I was pretty satisfied with the ending. But anyway, guys, overall, a couple things that were a little off-putting about just like the shape and the structure of the film, but overall, I really like the movie. So I think think for a score out of 10, I think I'm gonna give it an even 8.0. The movie is short, it's sweet, and if you can handle the subtitles, it's a really, really, really nice little experience. So there you go. But anyway, guys, those are my thoughts. What are your thoughts? Have you guys seen this movie? Have you heard of it? Hop in the comments. Let me know what's up. Other than that, if you like this review, give me a like, subscribe, share, hit the bell, comments, do all that other YouTubey type of shenanigans, and I will catch you guys next time.